Ruben, if you were to say to people who were thinking about having, who hadn't really heard of a bone anchored hearing aid, were having loads of problems with their ears, and actually someone said to them, well, there is this operation you can go to. It's like you have to live with a screw in your head and, clip things on. And you have to make sure that you keep that quite clean and, maybe that's faffy. What would you say to that person? Would you say, oh man, don't think about it? Or would you say actually go for it?
The benefits to having it completely outweigh anything that could possibly not that could go to not wanting you to have it. So, I mean, take me for example. I had it in a water polo related incident. I had it taken out, or even I had it ripped out of my head because of a very uh, physical water polo a knock. And as soon as I realized it was gone, and my mum told me I had to wait 4 weeks for the operation, I broke down and cried because I wanted it back that much. And I think that alone proves how much I rely on it and how beneficial it is for me. And cleaning wise, I don't know if this is me in particular, but I've never had any problems with it, being flaky or having infections. I think those are very, very rare one-off cases. And and obviously the operations can be risky, but I've had three on it now, and I mean I'm as far as I can tell, I'm doing okay. So
Fine
um
to me, Ruben. So after
the
the water polo incident, because that's quite an interesting bit of your story. So
yeah.
actually, the abutment bit came out. I can imagine
Mhm.
mom and dad must have freaked out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter where that screw goes in your head because it's
No,
all about
absolutely
the
not.
sound vibrations getting through, sending through that bone to the
Yeah.
lining a bit on that little cochlea there. So did
Mhm.
they just sort of put it in a slightly different place?
Yeah, so what they did was actually for me because they knew I like to like run around a lot. They actually put a spare one in, so they put two in my head for the first stage. So a
Yes.
bit of molds with the school that you can just screw the next stage of the operation onto afterwards. They put a second, like I think they called it like a dud or something. I don't know the name, but so they just opened that one up and put it in. But yeah, so I
You've
got
had
done
that
really
one
quickly.
ready. Brilliant.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah.
it. Like Reuben has to have a few in his head because of his.
Because he's that accident pro.
I know.
But
Oh,
even if um I even if you had to pay for it, if I was an adult and I found out about it and I knew how beneficial it was, no matter how much it costed, I would pay for it because it gives me that much of a it just puts me on a level playing field compared to everyone else, and in some cases I get even more benefits than people with full hearing do. So I I couldn't recommend it more. Obviously, it's not for everyone because not everyone requires it. But if you're having problems like with that, with like regular hearing aids, and it's really and you can tell it's not your hearing isn't good. If these aren't helping, look into a bone anchored hearing aid because they are absolutely amazing, and I could talk about how good it is for hours.
brilliant, Reuben. And that honestly, and I think coming from, I'm not being funny, but coming from a 15-year-old teenager who's probably got quite high expectations of technology and wearing something on your head, I think that is a brilliant recommendation. So thank you so much.
No problem.